I must start by saying that I'm very happy to be back in WCC and in this auditorium.
த ரைஸ் அமைப்பின் சார்பில் உலக அளவில் வளர்ந்து வரும் அடுத்த தலைமுறை உயர் தொழில்நுட்ப டீப் டெக் குறித்த தொழில்முறை கருத்தரங்கு சென்னை நுங்கம்பாக்கத்தில் உள்ள மகளிர் கிறிஸ்துவ கல்லூரி அரங்கில் நடைபெற்று வருகிறது. இந்நிகழ்ச்சியில் அமைச்சர் பழனிவேல் தியாகராஜன் உரையாற்றி வருகிறார். அந்த காட்சிகளை நாம் திரையில் பார்த்து வருகிறோம்.
Other reasons. And every time I come, I remark upon the fact that much of our progress as a society in Tamil Nadu is attributable to contributions of the Christian missionaries who came and set up brilliant institutions like the Women's Christian College and changed our society, because as we all know now, economically and developmentally, the progress of women is probably the single biggest driver of the progress of a society. So the fact that they focused on women's education in multiple places, I think, is commendable. I had, by coincidence, the opportunity to be at Stella Maris College yesterday for some other international AI conference. And I'm very pleased to see that such eminent colleges are continuously keeping their students at the cutting edge of what is going on in science and technology and other fields. I also remarked that I had the opportunity to go to CMC Vellore for a convocation, and I noted that it was probably, to my understanding, the only medical college I know of, at least, maybe certainly in India, which was started solely for women, and then they eventually let men in. So, these kinds of things have profoundly shaped our society by giving access to education for women in an equitable way and at a world-class level. I'm also reminded that the progress of our society has been driven so much by relatively universal access to education. On last Friday, the 3rd of January, I was the chief guest at the College of Engineering Gindi, the oldest engineering college in India, at their annual global alumni meet. And then subsequently on Saturday, I was also the guest of honor at my own alumni meet, NIT Trichy. And my fellow kind of distinguished guest was Thiru N. Chandrasekharan, the chairman of Tata Sons, who graduated from NIT Trichy in 1987, the same year I did. He got his MCA, I got my BTech honors. He was one of the few people who stayed behind. At that point, Tamil Nadu was producing so many brilliant engineers, but most of us went overseas. And many of us did well overseas, but I was also very pleased to see that people like Chandra, who stayed back, had gone on to have such a deep impact on Indian industry and Indian progress. The story of Tamil Nadu is really the story of our human capital. Ever since the first Justice Party governments of the 1920s till today, the notion of compulsory elementary education back then for boys and girls, now all the way to these kinds of events at these kinds of premier institutions. We have been all about inclusion, all about developing human capital. In fact, I read a statistic the other day that something like 11% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world are led by Indians. And by my best estimate, about 30% of those Indians are Tamils. So that just goes to show you roughly how important our human capital is. Our Chief Minister recognized this early in our government in 2021 when we set up the Global Economic Advisory Council for him. He mentioned in his opening speech that he envisions Tamil Nadu to be, for the next generation at least, the premier source of human capital in the world, and all our efforts, all our schemes, from the Pudumai Pens, Tamil Pudalvans, Nan Mudalvan, all the schemes are aimed at making sure that our people develop and progress in a global environment where there's a huge shortfall of young people around the world. qualified young people are going to drive the future, drive the economic empowerment, not just of their home countries, but of their country's position in the global economy. And India in general, but Tamil Nadu in particular, this is our greatest strength. The reason I say that is that in many ways, Father Jagat Gaspar has been kind of prescient. He has realized the value of this Tamil human capital around the world and has started this initiative of the RISE many years ahead of time. I remember attending the first RISE conference, I think it was in Madurai, many years ago. And I remember attending the first international conference of the RISE in Malaysia at Cyberjaya at Tan Sri Pawan's University. So I think in that sense, this is the kind of integrating force or initiative that really gets us to leverage the capital that we've already developed and has gone on to succeed all over the world, like my friend Cecil, like Ganesh Ramachandran, like Tan Sri Pawan, like Sid Ahmed, who can come back and connect and inspire and guide a lot of the talent that we have here, and then facilitate for the entrepreneurs, particularly the MSMEs, who may not have access. This RISE can be a wonderful channel or avenue or integrator, accelerator, I would say. In that sense, I'm happy we've opened or inaugurated yet another initiative around deep tech. I don't think there's much for me to say about the topic itself after experts like Cecil and Ganesh have spoken. I will just say that I'm old enough to have seen the evolution of technology and the evolution of AI, or the nth coming, the third or fourth coming of AI in my time. I used to be a chemical engineer, I used to be in math modeling. My original master's was in operations research. And I've seen the evolution of algorithms, of heuristics, of computing. I would say what's different this time is that we have now reached a convergence. Through things like IoT, we are collecting data at granularity and at scale that we have never seen before, and it's coming continuously. The ability to store, to augment, to annotate, to, I would say, parse this data has become so good that now we have seen the advent of big data, which was kind of the founding block for deep tech. And then, of course, once you have that much data, if you have the enormous processing capability that comes from things like the GPUs now and eventually quantum computing, then you have the capacity to do the kinds of automated or autonomous, I would say, rather than automated, autonomous processing, insights, decision making, and outcomes which were never seen before. So whether we're talking about AI or generative AI or general intelligence, artificial general intelligence, as Ganesh spoke about, we are definitely in an era of profound change. And this change is going to last for a long time. This is not something that's like an on-off switch. It's not like yesterday was the era of pre-AI and today's the era of AI. In many ways, this has been an evolution that is coming for a long time. And right now, the bottlenecks are not just about the design of things like quantum computers or the Willow chip, as Ganesh pointed out, is a huge breakthrough because of its auto-correction of the errors in processing. But also in terms of the amount of data, the transferability of it, the access to it, the hosting of it, the notion of clouds, where you don't have to spend $100 million to be able to access $100 million of computing power. You can actually buy 10 minutes of it and do all the pre-work with other things and then just get 10 minutes of it at a very reasonable cost. So these network effects, where you can find resources all around the world, is going to open up a lot of innovation. But the reality is that it's probably going to be 10 to 20 years before our lives are profoundly changed. We can start to see the change now,